Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Shitala, thank you for giving us an opportunity to come to your institution so that we can be able to continue with the chronicling of institution across East Africa as East Africa goes through its 25th anniversary. The first question, Professor, is how was your academic journey from Tande to Iwate University?
Thank you very much. That's a very long journey that I made through academic. Tande was my primary school. It's in Kakamega County, and I started there through the old system, which went up to standard 7. So after Tande, I moved to Lubinu Secondary School, which also is in Kakamega County, but in Mumias division. There I studied from Form 1 to Form 4. From there I went to A-level. We had those days the A-level system. A-level I went to Kapsabet Boys. So that's where I did my Form 5 and Form 6. And good enough, I managed to enter the university. And those days we had only very few universities. Therefore I joined the University of Nairobi to do a course in agricultural engineering. So I did my course for 3 years. Those days we were doing 3 years. And after graduating, actually I continued with my master's in what we call processing engineering, which is basically a transformation or conversion of agricultural materials to other forms that can be used. So after doing my master's at University of Nairobi is when I joined Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology as an assistant lecturer those days. So I started there as an assistant lecturer. I became a tutorial fellow, and then when I was a tutorial fellow, I left for my PhD in Japan, and that's when I joined Iwate University. So I did my PhD at Iwate University in Japan. The university is in the northern part of Japan. It was a very interesting place to stay and study because it's actually one of the coldest areas that we have in Japan. So I did my PhD for 4 years, and after that is when I came back to Jomo Kenyatta University, and then I continued teaching and also carrying out research.
Thank you. That's a very brilliant academic journey. And I would want us actually to jump into Seku itself. This is an institution that was founded formally. It was a constituent college for Nairobi University in 1976. Then when the former president, Kibaki came, he chatted in 2013. Now, how has been the journey of this university?
Yeah, this university, first of all, I must emphasize that it's a unique university because it's one of the universities in what we call arid and semi-arid areas. So one of the objectives for having this university was to ensure that we can be able to train experts and researchers who can be able to help carry out activities, mainly agricultural activities that will support the farmers in this area. More so development of drought-resistant crops, drought-resistant animals, and drought-resistant trees. Everything that can be able to be supported in this environment. Currently you can see it's looking green, but if you come after a few months, you'll be shocked that it will be looking very dry. So this university has gone through the journey from 2013 when it was a university college, and then it became chartered. So actually this university began from a college called, an institute actually called UKAI, Ukamba Agricultural Institute. That is the one which had started earlier. and then now when it became a university college, it became a university college, a constituency of University of Nairobi, and then after that is when it was chartered to become a fully fledged university. So it started in a very small way. We had very few students that time, but currently as we are talking, our number of students has grown to about 10,000 students, and also we are having almost 500 staff members, and we have 8 schools that are currently running. One of our latest school is in law, which is actually has attracted quite a number of students, and because we are agriculturally based, and we have a mandate to ensure that we can promote agriculture in this region, we have also the School of Agriculture and also Environment. So we are able to study, train, do research in almost all areas of our academic to be able to support the environment that we are living in. We are also working very closely with the society, the community which is around us. So we have been able to engage our farmers in terms of crop production, animal production, bee production, tree production. We have also collaborated with the Kenya Forest Research, and we have a lot of demonstrations that we do for our farmers on the different varieties of trees that Kefri is growing in this particular region. So we can say that this university has really grown. It's now, we can say it's a medium size. Now it's a medium size university comparatively. And we are able to attract students from all over the country. And we have also a few students outside the country. Like we have students from Nigeria. We also have students from Ghana. And we have students who have visited on short term, like from Netherlands. So we are working with other institutions also to ensure that we continue to grow as a university. So I can say that from where we started, there is a big difference that has occurred in the growth of this university.
Thank you, Professor, for that, yes. And congrats for the fact that you have now a new school in law.
Yes.
And I would want actually to raise a question on that. When do you expect your first graduating class in the School of Law?
Yeah, School of Law, basically they take 4 years. So they started, they are now in their first academic year. So we expect after 4 years that they will be graduating. And you know very well that for law, they have again to go to the School of Law. So once they finish here, then now they will join the School of Law.
Thank you for that. Yes. Now, a very important question. Now, there is the admission process. How is the admission process for a student who has done, and I believe first actually we have, I believe the last classes of the whole system before CBE comes into process. Now, I would want to understand the journey of a student who wants to join Seku University right now and 3 years from now through the CBE process.
Thank you very much. It's good to note that the system is changing, but the process for joining any public university actually is more or less standard. Long ago, we used to have the students apply to join universities when they were in school, but that system has changed a little bit because we have now the what we are calling COOPs, the Kenya Universities and Colleges Placement Services, which now allows the students to apply when they have finished and they have gotten their results. So if you have a student who has done Form 4 and they have a C+, they will now go to COOP's website and decide which university they want to join, which course they want to join, and then they find out do they qualify for that particular course. Now, for example, they qualify for doing law at Seku. then they apply for that particular course. Usually they are allowed to apply at least 3 courses, so that you don't, if you miss one, then you can be able to get another one. For example, law may be very competitive in Seku, but it's not very competitive maybe at University of Nairobi. So if you miss to get law in Seku, you can get another course in Seku or even in another university. So they have that option now, which is quite open. They can decide which courses they want to do in which university. Now, after they have chosen and they qualify, then KUPS places them in the university where they have qualified. So if they are qualified to come to Seku, they are now placed to come to Seku. Now, KUPS gives the names of the applicants who have qualified to Seku. Now, what Seku does, it simply prepares an admission letter. So we prepare an admission letter and then we give to that student, and then that student is able to report to Seku.
Okay, that's a brilliant one. Now, still on admission, do you offer flexible studies like online learning? And how many programs, like you have given us, the 8 of them, do you offer online all of them? And still on the same, can a student have a flexible option whereby they can do like you are doing law for the 4 years, whereby you are given an option to do both brick and mortar, whereby you have to come to class, and also online?
I must say we have not fully ventured into online programs. In fact, we have just launched the Odell program, which actually this semester is when we advertised for our first students. But what we have been doing is a kind of combination of online and physical for the same program. Meaning that, for example, if you are doing a course in law and one of the units, for example, is being done by other students, then the unit being done by other students from other courses can be able to be run online. So our system basically, as we are talking, is a blended one. Then from this semester now, we are looking forward to having our Odell programs. Now, these Odell programs are the ones we hope can be done fully online if they are successful. So we have not admitted even a single student at the moment.
Well, thank you for that. The other thing, and a very important aspect for any student who is actually, rather any student who is in college right now, is whereby they can transfer. Do you have the same options in the transfer from one university to the other? And how is that process, if I may ask?
Yeah, actually transfer is allowed by KUPS. So what happens is that the student who wants to transfer applies to the institution where they want to transfer to through the institution where they want to transfer from. Now, if the 2 institutions agree that the student can transfer, then with that approval, the communication goes to KUPS, and then KUPS now does the transfer in their system. So the student, once it goes in the system and KUPS says okay, the student gets communication that you can now move to the next university, and with that now they are allowed to move. And when they move, because they get support from HELP, and they also get support from University Funding Board, the 2 are also informed of the same, and then the funds are also transferred to the new university where the student has gone to.
Going back to the transfers, one crucial aspect about the East African community is whereby, when we talk about integration, whereby a student, one way or the other, can a student from Uganda, let me pick a university like Kabale University or Kampala itself, can they be able to transfer from Kampala University to Seku University under the current?
Yes, currently already the Inter-University Council of East Africa has developed a qualification framework which now helps students from other countries move and can be able to study in other East African countries. So at the moment, you simply now compare the qualifications, for example, for a university in Uganda. Then now you compare with the same course in, let's say, Seku, and then you see if the matching is okay as per the recommendation of the East African University Council framework. Then if that is okay, that student can be able to transfer. So that opportunity now is open. And in fact, I think last year, towards the end of last year, we were asked to actually communicate if we can accept students from other countries, which we did as Seku. So we are waiting. If that takes place, then we shall be having students from other countries joining at whatever level they would want in Seku.
Professor, going back to an earlier statement, one thing we have learned about your university, and one competitive advantage is on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And going back, actually, there was a story that read in some of the newspapers about an opportunity for female students here, the final year students, whereby you gave them an opportunity to have diploma courses on artificial intelligence so that you can prepare them for the next phase in their lives. Could you kindly comment on that for a moment for the viewers at the end of the day to be able to understand how that one came into?
Yeah, I think as you have noted, artificial intelligence is now the thing that is everybody is trying to look for, and it's because it's affecting our lives, it's affecting our daily lives. And what we did is that we had a project with the University of Nairobi, and that project was supporting girls. So we actually had girls who came to Seku, and they were being trained in the area of ICT basically. And one of the areas that they actually looked at was in artificial intelligence. And this is because, as you know, girls generally run away from technical things. So to be able to encourage them, this project took an initiative to consider the girls from all sectors in secondary schools, those who are doing jobs, those who are working in different places, and gave them this opportunity to be able to learn and improve their skills in ICT, and also be able to learn about artificial intelligence and its application, so that they can be able to either grow in the trainings that they are doing, or support the kind of work that they are already doing outside. So this was a very important and very critical kind of training that we had with the University of Nairobi, and we really thank them for that collaboration, and even look forward to having more girls coming for the same training.
Thank you, Professor, for clarifying that. And I have another question on still on the students who are leaving the university right now. We have a challenge, especially even some people say we have half-cooked graduates. Now, I would want actually to comment on how the university prepares students to be competitive in the evolving labor market.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can't say our students at Seku are cooked unless you change your definition of cooking, because we know cooking is a way of preparing a meal, and if it's not well cooked, it means it is raw. So, so we can say that our students are well cooked. And this is because, first of all, for you to produce a high quality graduate, there are some basics which you must have. First of all, we must have highly qualified staff, and I must confess that Seku has actually a very high percentage of highly qualified staff, because over 50% of our lecturers have PhDs. So this is something you will not find very common in many universities. Now, these PhDs are also in various fields, and these PhDs also support very strong research background for the institution. So if we have a very strong research background, we have very qualified academic staff, then it means we can be able to prepare our students in a way that they will get very recent and very relevant academic information. The other area where you will ensure quality is on facilities, and that is the equipments that you have in the institution. As you say, we have a very strong capability in engineering and technology. So we also have very good facilities. We have good computer facilities, we have good engineering facilities, we have good medical facilities. So if you look at the exposure that we are giving to our students, then you realize that they are getting knowledge which is not fake. They are getting knowledge which is real. They are getting exposed to what is relevant in the society and also even in other countries. And therefore, when they come out of this institution, they are well prepared. Therefore, we can say that we have good quality graduates. The other thing we usually do to ensure quality is that we ensure our students have also attachment. Now, this attachment helps them to face reality on the ground, where they are able to go to industries, go to schools, go to other institutions, and there they meet the practical situation on the ground, and they can be able to show that the knowledge they have is useful wherever they have gone for attachment. So that exposure, practical exposure, also prepares them for what they will be doing in future. And therefore, when they reach outside, you cannot now say they are cooked, because in that case they are already exposed, they already know what is happening, and they can be able to use their knowledge to deliver services effectively and also efficiently. So the other thing which is also very critical is how we interact with other people, and that is through collaborations. And you remember I mentioned that we had some students from other countries. We have even students from European countries. Now when these students come, they also interact with our students and increase the scope of exposure. And therefore our students are not ignorant of what is happening outside Kenya or in other countries, and that also helps them to develop their skills. Now you also know that currently, unlike before, our students are highly exposed to information. We are now in an era where information is available easily online, and we have ensured that our university has very good internet facilities, so students can be able to get information from outside. And we have also softwares which we engage or buy, so that our students can be able to use them to get even more knowledge from outside. So with that kind of background for our students, I strongly believe that we produce good products.
Professor, this is a personal one, and I would want us to briefly actually talk about something. You are one of the few professors we have who have spent so much time on smart things, especially on solar. You have a lot of initiatives on that. I would want you to briefly talk about some of the initiatives, and still on the same wavelength. I believe you are part of the CONSA Technology City initiative, and on top of that, recently there was the launching of the Rusai, the road from Nairobi to Mombasa, and there was a charter online whereby one lane will be for self-charging electric, whereby now since we have a lot of electric vehicles, the same actually will be trend. There is one actually that's running in US in Detroit, but in Kenya, this is actually, that is the argument from some quarters. I would want to know more what we expect from you, especially with your initiatives on solar, and probably I'm sure this could be a discussion for some people in the future, whether we talk about professor being part of such kind of a thing.
Yeah, actually that is very true. I have a lot of interest in technology, especially what we call renewable energy resources, and this is one of the things that I'm pursuing at Seku, because one of the agenda we have is to develop what we call a solar plant. because at the moment at Seku, although we have power that comes from Kenya Power, this power we find that it's sometimes very unreliable, and sometimes we find that it is a bit expensive in what we are running. So we have already developed a proposal for a solar plant, and this is about 50 megawatts of solar power. And at the moment, as we are talking, we are actually looking for funding. Now, as we look at this electric power, we are also thinking about having electric buses. Actually, we already had a bus which came here for testing, and we have budgeted in our next financial year, if possible, we can be able to acquire an electric bus. Now, you have seen that we have very vast lands, and our students stay at Pavonsa, which is slightly very far from the university. So we find that it is very difficult for our students to be traveling up and down. So we felt that if we get an electric bus, it will be able to support the transport for students and reduce the stress which they are having in terms of traveling. But we don't look at it just in terms of the use, we are also looking at it in terms of research. So when we get the bus, we'll also be researching on the technology itself and seeing what can we improve so that we are able to increase the efficiency and also adaptability of this technology for electric buses. So this is something which we are pursuing very seriously. The other thing we are really pursuing right now is on the issue of water harvesting. You can see that this area is semi-arid. If you look at it now, you may think it is not arid, but it can be very dry sometimes. So we are thinking of how can we improve water harvesting from rain by having more reservoirs for storing water from our roofs, and then having also what we call sand dams on our seasonal rivers so that they can be able to store the water, and also having what we call earth dams to be able to preserve some of the water that we get from the rain. So this is an area which we also want to pursue. You realize when we started there was a lot of wind blowing into this building, and we are also thinking we can be able to develop power from wind. So wind power is also an option which we are thinking about, that we can be able to use to generate electricity. So if we have the solar power, we have the wind power, you can be sure we'll have good source of power to run most of our operations at the university. So this is a very critical area. Now, why are we pursuing so much about power? It is because now our systems, almost all our systems are running on power. You cannot talk of technology development without power. So we need a very efficient and affordable source of power that can help us in terms of running our systems. Right now we are adopting systems that are online so that we eliminate physical activities. You find that when we carry out our activities physically, it takes a lot of time, it needs a lot of power, and also there is a lot of delays. So when we do automation, which we use power, then we can be able to improve accessibility to information, accessibility to services, and this will then increase efficiency and be able to allow our university to grow even much faster than we have been growing.
The fighting short and final one. Where do you think will be the future of higher education, especially since you talked about things like ChatGPT, and also especially when you are also training students who have actually already grasped everything through ChatGPT, and would want also you to give us actually what you may think would be the outlook of the East African community universities in the next 10 years. Seku being one, especially Seku now is 12 years, isn't it? From 2013. So by the time it turns 25 years, just like East African community.
To me, I think the future of higher learning will even become better than now. because we are now in what we may call an era of technology competition. And you just realized what our young people are doing online, then you discover that they have a lot of innovations. Now, these innovations may be mainly on social media, but they are also going to come down to other innovations which are going to help our institutions. And these innovations can be sustained through higher education. When you leave them without any leadership, then the innovation will finally die. But when you are able to sustain the innovations through research, which is done at the university, then you can be able to ensure that the innovations will continue growing, and we shall continue to have even new and even greater innovations taking place. And therefore, without setting ourselves for that future as a university, then our future will be blind. But since we are now on the runway, moving with other countries and other institutions, then we are looking forward to flying together in terms of the technology changes and also playing our role in contributing to innovations. As you have said, the innovations like ChatGPT are making a lot of difference, but I hope you know that now DeepSeek has already overtaken ChatGPT. So things are moving so fast, such that as an institution we need to see what is our place, what role are we going to play. And I think that's why we are now training our students in ICT, so that they can become members and part of the developers of these programs that are now changing technology in the world. For the East Africa, I think the good thing is that now we have an organization, the Inter-University Council of East Africa, where I am actually a committee member, is now bringing our universities together. It has already developed programs and policies which are now bringing our activities together so that we can link. If we have technology in Seku which is going to be beneficial to the East Africans, we are able to share with the other East African countries. We are also able to share our staff. There is a staff movement that is done in East Africa from different universities, so they get exposure in what is happening in other countries. And I'm thinking that soon we shall also have the one for students, where our students can move to other countries and they are able to carry out research in those particular areas. So I think we are moving in the right direction as a university and also as the East African community. And this, I believe, has been taken very seriously by the East African governments. And therefore, as we look at the new technologies, changes in the new technologies, and adopt them, and also enhance the same in our universities, then we can be able to stand with the new changes in technology.
Thank you, Professor, for your time. And we also congratulate you for the work you do in retooling the mindset of the future of our young kids and our students. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, welcome.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Asante. Thank you.